And welcome back to the Upside Sports Network. My name is Michael. Appreciate you guys joining us on a Sunday evening. Been a minute since we've done one of these. Thought we'd get right back to it tonight. We're probably going to draft at least 2, maybe even 3 teams tonight. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Whenever we do go live, we'll post it on our Twitter page as well, at UpsideSN. So let's get into it. Welcome in, Jordan, as well. Appreciate you guys joining us once again. In case you guys are unfamiliar, we like to use the ESPN Fantasy Football app. It's a lot easier. Been doing it for over a decade now. I'm not really going to switch, but I know a lot of you guys use other sources. Feel free to do so. But let's get right into fantasy football, shall we? Let's go ahead and sign up now. We're going to join a public league. We've tried doing some salary cap drafts the last few times anyway as our second draft of the night. We're going to lead off with it today. We're going to start with that one. Seems harder to draft it later at night. Less people willing to do drafts, I guess, of that type. Takes a lot more concentration, etc. But we're going to go ahead and start there. We've done fantasy football before. We're not a beginner. We're going to do PPR because why not at this point? Yeah, I got a buzz cut. Looks pretty clean anyway. But let's get started. Let's go ahead and edit our team here. Continue to waiting room. We're already pretty much full already, so should be a pretty fun night of drafting. Did some changes to our room as far as the room we do this stuff for you guys in, our studio, and it should work a little bit better as far as the presentation. but we'll be working on it, tinkering with it around the edges for the next couple of days. So if you notice any kind of fuzziness around my head, etc., that's one of the things that we will be adjusting to as we've made some changes here in studio. You can try. Got 3 minutes left. Only one spot available. Some really nice team names already up there. And looks like we're already full. Of course, we could have one drop out. You never know. Got 2.5 minutes until we draft. In case you guys are new here to the Upside, we cover the NFL, NBA, MLB, and the NHL. We're doing a little bit of fantasy football work here before the season begins, and then we're going to go pretty heavy as into the NFL for the first week of the season. So it should be a pretty fun time. Going to cover quite a few more games this year than we did last year. Last year on Sundays we kind of took the day off and did mostly reaction type videos. We're going to do some live games for you guys this year. Most of the Thursday night games, if I get off in time from my 9 to 5 job, I will try to get home as quickly as I can to be able to do those games for you. And then we'll try to do 2 games on Sundays, maybe even 3 depending on the day. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe whenever we do go live. Like I said, we will post it on our Twitter and Facebook pages, Upside Sports Network and Upside SN. So got about 1.5 minutes until this one drafts. Got 1 slot available. Hopefully we don't have to wait another 5 minutes after this one. But the way a salary cap draft works, you start out with $200. Your max bid on any player at any point is $185, and each time you bid on players, the money you spend, you don't get that back. That goes away. So every time you say you spend $60 on Justin Jefferson, well, now you only have $140 for the rest of your roster. You cannot spend all $200 on one player. You can spend up to a max of $185 on one player. So if you paid attention in our draft strategy video, one thing I usually prefer to do in these types of drafts is I try to find value wherever I can find value. I try to find a positional advantage every single week, whether that be getting Travis Kelce and by far having the best tight end on the board every single week on my team, so be it. Whether it be going after a quarterback early in a snake draft. In an auction draft, I like to attack the middle rounds with abandon, we'll put it that way. I like to get a lot of that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round talent and have a really high floor for a team while counting on a couple of high ceiling guys to push me over the top. And still having enough of a good roster to go ahead and trade some of those back end of the pieces on my team to another roster to be able to find any piece that I need at the deadline. So that's kind of how I like to operate in my fantasy drafts. So let's see if this actually drafts and we are actually full. We'll find out. Yay, nobody left at the last second. All right. Go ahead and dig in here, waiting for the ad to end. That should be a really good series, by the way. Heard some really good things about it. And it looks like we are going to get to nominate 9th again. Yuck. I haven't gotten to nominate early, but it's not really about what order you nominate. You don't necessarily get the player that you nominate, obviously. You have to win the player. One thing I told you is I like to show the 185. So in case you guys are unfamiliar with how to do that, you see where it says players, draft summary, rules, and then budgets on the screen. Click on budgets. You see where that blue dot is for remaining budgets? Go ahead and click on max offers. You can see the remaining budget of 200, the max offer of 185. Look at the top of the screen now. It's 185. It shows the max bid any team can bid on any single player. So something to kind of keep an eye out for. As far as teams and how much they're spending on rosters, you see sometimes teams go out there and spend $60 on Justin Jefferson, another $55 on Austin Eckler, another $50 on Travis Kelce. They'll have a great 1, 2, 3. Don't get me wrong. One of those players goes down, you're absolutely going to be fighting for your playoff life. If 2 of those players go down, you ain't got no chance at winning the playoffs. Now, if every every team on that, or every player that you draft, if you draft that way, if they have a down week, if they don't produce as much this year, if they have a hamstring that's causing them to leave early in game after game after game, like we've seen a number of high end top end players go over the past couple of years, that's another risk you have to take. So, like I said, I like to go for that middle ground, that third through sixth round, where I really try to capitalize on players' values. So let's go over to the players here. One strategy I haven't mentioned yet is the nominations. How should you nominate in your league? For me, I like to spend my other players' money in this league here. So, for instance, say I want to get all the other teams to bid on a player, I might throw out a quarterback because quarterbacks in the past were a dime a dozen. This year, I think there's probably 5 to 8 really good quarterbacks this year, and then it's pretty much a vast valley of nothingness. So if you're able to get one of the high-end quarterbacks like a Hurts, Mahomes, Fields, great. If you're able to get one of the medium, level quarterbacks like a Burrow, Herbert, Lawrence, great. But I try to get other teams to bid on players early. So usually quarterbacks go above their value, so I like to nominate them early. Now, if a player goes below their value, I might be willing to pounce even if it doesn't match my draft strategy. Again, take advantage of value, take advantage of situations and how your draft goes. If you guys watched our live from about a week or so ago, we had a really interesting salary cap draft where pretty much every player went for undervalue, which is absolutely shocking. It was very difficult to be able to assemble the roster you wanted, but we still managed to do so, and turned out pretty well. Exactly. Right, exactly what I was just talking about, Jordan. Right on the money. Well, nobody's wanting to bid for him, so let's go ahead and bid 40. We got one auto in here, so that'll at least keep prices honest early. If Justin Jefferson goes for 46, I'll... oh my. I'm at least going to get it over 50. Now we got a few other players chiming in here. Here we go. Now's where I back off and let them go ahead and get after it. One thing I wish they would do is go ahead and allow you to say not interested in a player like they used to do. Back in the day, you were able to collect a button that would allow you to say not interested in a player so that you wouldn't be able to accidentally bid on a player that you're not necessarily willing to bid on, or bid too much for a player that you like. So looking at the way this draft is going so far, it's going pretty well. High value there for Jefferson, 63. Not too high, but enough. Ja'Marr Chase, really like the player. Not sure he's going to have a great year this year. One thing you have to be aware of is if this manual bid offer is that it can really jump up the price on everybody, really. If you're not paying attention and everybody's just mashing the button, try to get it higher and try to win the player. If somebody bids 100 and you're insta-clicking, if you click that next button, it's going to be $101 out of your budget, and then your roster's basically sunk. I don't care how good you draft, you're not going to recover from it. So keep that in mind as well. Also, I remember several years ago, back when Adrian Peterson of the Minnesota Vikings was the top running back in the NFL, but there was another Adrian Peterson from the Chicago Bears, another running back that people kept throwing out there, and you'd see people bid all the time, way over value, on a player who was not Adrian Peterson, but they'd be bidding on him, not paying attention to the name. So beware of those kinds of things happening in your draft rooms. I got a collage. I guess they're lagging a little bit with how their graphics are doing today. A little bit of a graphic bug. Chase goes over value again. Now you look at Team Cows. They just bid on the number 1 and number 2 receivers in this draft. What are they going to do for their running backs? What are they going to do at quarterback? If one of those goes down, what are they going to do? If Joe Burrow's out for 3 or 4 games, how does that impact Ja'Marr Chase? They're going heavy on wide receiver. They can do that, I suppose, but that's a really big risk to take. I'm not one of those teams that likes to do that. Eckler, value of 58 coming into the draft. We're going to go ahead and bump it up here to 50 just to get things going. $53. Hoping this gets up to 60 here. Shouldn't have a problem. 58. Team Cow's going to wipe out their budget again. Wow. And just like that, they get the number one, the number two wide receiver, they get the number one running back. That's well within their rights, but now they have $7 with with whatever's left to build their roster as far as a max bid. Um, just yuck. Now it'll be interesting to see how other teams go. The auto draft is no longer there. Everybody's here in the lobby. Wow. They're going to give me this level of a discount? Somebody dropped out for a second. Pre-draft value of 41. Looks like the auto draft might be coming back. Some connection issues for a couple of teams. Up to 37. That's still pretty good value for CeeDee Lamb, but I'm going to hold off. I still think other teams are going to bid here. 40, 41. He's already at his market value. Let's see if somebody goes over it or if we're going to have some more restraint. Looks like we're going to have some restraint by the looks of it. 42 is $1 over, but I'm okay with that. Ooh, this is one player I really want to have in most of my rooms this year. I think Ridley's going to have a monster season. Pre-draft value of 22. I'm willing to go up for 22 on a player I really like. Ridley is that player right now. I'll go over $1. Alright. As much as I want Ridley, I'm not going to overbid here. It looks like there's some healthy interest from a couple of other teams. We're going to back off there. 27. 5 over his value. Still tempting even at that price. But we'll see what other opportunities happen after seeing him go off the board. McCaffrey, we're going to go ahead and bump this up so we don't waste our time. $57 pre-draft value. This is about where he should go. I think he should be valued a little less than 57, just because of the injury risks, etc. I do think he's going to get a massive workload out of that backfield, but just the risk, it might be worth the reward, don't get me wrong, but I'm not willing to pay the price just to find out. We're over his market value already, just fine, willing to see him go right here. And surprising he goes for a little bit more than Eckler, honestly. I really like that Chargers offense this year. Got a good competition here. This one's going to be the biggest overpay of the draft so far. Got a little bit of a competition between two 49ers fans, I'm guessing. Up to 70 for McCaffrey here. See if they go to 71. Nope, going to drop it on him for 70. Nice work by Team Copeland. James Conner. Love James Conner. Think he's going to be a great running back this year. course, I counted on him as a top 10 running back last year. If you guys paid attention to my fantasy videos, got a little bit of crow on that one. Still think he's going to be a productive running back, kind of a low-end RB2 this year is where I'm ranking him. I'm fine losing him at this price point. He's already overvalued for me at this point. Still not a bad value, though, at $12. Exactly. Up to 16 for Connor. We're just about to nominate here in just a moment. Probably nominate... Ooh, nice choice, nominating Lawrence here. Let's see what the interest is in quarterbacks at this point. Pre-draft value of 5, we're already at that. Looks like quarterbacks are going to go high. Expecting somebody to bid here. There we go. I could put out a quarterback. I don't want to do that at the moment. I want to, well, let's go ahead and put McLaurin on the block. I just want to see what a low-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3 goes for at this point. They haven't really tested that level of the market yet. Got the price enforcing auto pick right now. Looks like McLaurin's going to go for at least market value. I'll take it. Nice couple of pickups there by Beef. Taylor. Again, he requested a trade and has now been given permission to at least seek a trade. I believe the deadline that the Colts self-imposed on that one was Tuesday. Miami's been one team that's said to have a lot of interest. The Cowboys have been mentioned. Ravens have been mentioned. I think the Ravens probably make a lot of sense there. Darn auto pick, price enforcing here. $27's about my max here for Taylor. There we go. Now we should get some picks. I think Butler wants him here. He's already worth right where his value should be in my mind. So I'm fine letting him go. I like to be one of the last players to actually draft somebody. Or one of the last teams to draft a player. Oof. Travis Kelce. Probably the hardest player for me to lay off of in this draft. Just because of how much of a positional advantage he is every single week. He's already at market value right here. I think whatever that jack-o'-lantern is, I think he's going to end up getting him. Kelce's a big expenditure, though, for Andrade. That'd wipe out the majority of his budget, and it does. Let's look and see what his roster looks like where he spent his money. Got two really nice pieces in Kelce and Ridley. Way overpaid for McCaffrey, and he's only got $30 left. Not looking good as far as roster construction. Of course, you can't start the players on your bench, so if you're going to go all out for your starters, I guess that's one way to go. Derrick Henry here. See what he goes for. Last year had 302 points. Not sure I can count on him as a top 10 runner this year. He is in my top 5, but he's the one with the least upside, I'll put it that way, out of all the running backs in my top 10. He has the lowest ceiling. Also has one of the higher floors, though. Cooper Kupp, one of my players that I do not want in pretty much any league. I'll help him bump it up, though. Up to 40, up to 50. I'm way out of my price range for him. Pass, 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 pass. Got some LA and Southern California fans in here, it looks like. We've seen a number of players go from the Southwest that are above value. Look at McCaffrey. Look at Connor. Now you look at Kupp. Seeing a little bit of a trend. Another player has finally spent some money. I'd love to have Bijan Robinson, but I don't think I can afford him in pretty much any draft. Oh, Jahmyr Gibbs, absolutely love this player. He is my running back must-have this year. Hopefully we don't get outbid on our range here for him. Probably willing to go up to as much as 30 probably here. I know it's more than the value, but I want Jahmyr Gibbs this year. Ugh. Okay. So I at least got my RB2 locked up. I still want at least one more solid running back. Alvin Kamara, one of my do not drafts this year. Right now we're in the range where people are trying to bid right up to the value of the player. And then $1 or $2 over is getting the player. So we'll see how that goes the rest of this draft if that trend holds. 53 is the high, or is the value for him. I'd be willing to probably go to 45, honestly. And there's the jump up in price. He's over 50 now. Looks like Hill is going to go for probably 60 with this many high-end payrolls still interested in him. 55. Or does everybody just drop off there? There it goes. See if we get another bid war like we did for McCaffrey. Nope. 57, so 4 over. Okay. Madison, we regretted not drafting him in the last draft we did with y'all live in one of these auction drafts. I will probably not make that same mistake here. Really like his value this year. 13. 14 already. 15. I'll go 16. There we go. Okay. At least I know he's going to go for a pretty penny. Probably the lowest drafted running back that has RB1 upside this year. Goes for 19. Almost double his projected value. We'll nominate another player here shortly. DK Metcalf, no thank you. We're going to nominate one of the top-end quarterbacks to see where the chips fall. Absolutely zero interest, though, in the player. Auto draft is certainly price enforcing, though. We're going to go ahead and nominate Mahomes and just see how it goes. $25 is a fair offer for Mahomes. There goes 26. People going to be cautious. Wow, Mahomes goes for undervalue. Although we have 3 teams now under 50 for a max bid. I'm okay dropping him at that price. $38 undervalue for Stefon Diggs, but I'm okay with that one. Let's see. Still have Gibbs on my roster. Here's Bijan. I'll stop there. At 50. Not a bad 1-2 punch for whatever that pumpkin face is, I guess. Garrett Wilson, he made a great catch the other day against, or from Aaron Rodgers anyway. I can't remember who they were facing in the preseason, but it was a heck of a catch. If he can do things like that, then maybe he will have a special season, but I'm not a believer yet. Pre-draft value of 40. For 11, though? Shoot, I'll take him. This draft could take a while, it looks like. Everybody's kind of penny-ante-ing it and not jumping up the bid. Davante Adams, the top wide receiver left. Remember, we lost Ridley earlier. There are some really good ones in this range, though. Don't need to overpay for a guy I'm not really interested in. Alright, another one below 100. Saquon should command a pretty penny. $49 pre-draft value. We'll see if it gets up to 45. One, two, three, four, 5 teams, including myself, are above $100 left to bid on one player. There's 45. And there he goes. Oh, last second bid. See if he does another one. Now he's willing to drop him. Okay. Another one underneath 50 bucks. So that's what, 4 teams now underneath 50 already. Davante here, 46 pre-draft value. We're going to go ahead and go up to 36 on an offer. If he goes for that, awesome. I'd take it. Adams is my number 4 receiver this year. 4 or 5. I think I got him 4. Don't need to overpay here, though. Tempting to get the player, but not worth it. I'd rather drop it and get another player underneath 50 bucks. Or close to it, anyway. Alrighty, let's see what his roster looks like. Bijan, Diggs, and Adams, 4 and 5 wide receivers, the number 3 running back. That's a good roster, but you don't have leave yourself many options, but they did do well by getting all 3 for under value. It's not a bad way to do it. Hawkinson, value of 13. He's probably going to go for more here. No thank you. I'd rather wait for a guy like Dalton Schultz in the last round. Stroud is going to find him over and over and over again this year. Here's Pollard. Looking at the running backs that are left here, Pollard, Chubb, Jacobs, Mixon, Etienne, Harris, Jones, Stevenson, Smith, and Hall. Pollard, I have Pollard in the top 10, but I'm not drafting him if I can help it. I'll take Pollard for 20. Probably go up to like 35, 37 here for Pollard. Beef's done well. Filled a couple of holes. Got a nice piece there. DJ Moore, love the player, but he usually goes higher in auction drafts for some reason. I guess because of the Chicago connection now. Had a decent preseason so far. Pass. Another player I like, but not going to overbid for him. Still too many good options left on the board. Still 5 of us with north of $100. Here's Chubb. The last of my top 5 runners this year. Probably go up to 38 for him. Bid 39. There we go. Now he's over market value. I'll take that. Phillies swept Cardinals today. They should be able to sweep the Angels, no problem. Phillies are a good team this year. Alright, let's see who should we nominate. Somebody who's going to get some value here. Somebody who's going to get some nice publicity. Let's go Mike Williams and just see what he gets. A lot of Southern California love in this draft so far. We'll see if it continues. Already at his value. And over it. Another decent pickup for Team Beef. They're going to be able to outbid pretty much anybody for, a high-end piece that they really like. Here's St. Brown. 38 value. Let's go ahead and do 22. I think I've reached my limit for him. He's already met his value. We'll see if he goes over. Detroit's offense is going to be really good this year. If I'm able to draft, some of the best offenses in the league, Detroit is definitely going to be up there. Philadelphia is going to be up there. Minnesota is going to be one of the best offenses this year. Miami, Buffalo at times, if Allen is able to get right, will be good. But we'll see. So there you see the roster, how it turned out for the, I guess we'll call it Pumpkinhead, essentially. Undervalue, 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 and then paid over and market value for the final 2 that he's really going to be able to spend money on this year. Olave's pre-draft value, 32. Looks like he's going to go a little bit under that at the moment. I unfortunately have no interest in the player. Had 198 points last year. I don't think he's going to improve on that too much this year. So is he a game breaker for me? No. Will he have weeks where he scores 30 points? I believe so, but I think he's going to be up and down. like the majority of that Saints offense. Another below value pickup for Team Beef. They're putting together a nice little roster over there. Lawrence, Pollard, McLaurin, Williams, Olave. 5 important spots already filled. A.J. Brown, probably the top wide receiver left on my board. I really do need a wide receiver 1. Waddle is the only other one really that's worth that. Hmm. At market value again. See if somebody outbids me for him. Josh Jacobs ended his holdout, signed a 1-year, $12 million deal, I think, to go back to the Raiders, and probably going to be the bell cow for them this year. I just don't think he's going to be dependable um, in the long run this year because of, hey, if he's got a tweaked hamstring or something, why push it when you're trying to get your next contract? And that's where I think things will go for Josh Jacobs. But when he's on the field, when he is healthy, he will be fantastic. 328 last year. They're expecting 249 this year. 1,600 yards last year. I don't think he sniffs that number this year. They're expecting a full 500 yard regression and 3 touchdowns from that offense, which supposedly improved by bringing in Garoppolo over Carr. Beef again going to get a nice deal here. Go ahead and bite down on Jacobs, though. I don't need him. Geno Smith, hard pass. Do I think the running back market will ever be the same? No, I don't. I think we're going to see kind of a whole new template for running backs and how they're drafted and how they decide to be utilized. I think the meeting that some of the running backs had, I don't know, about 3 weeks, a month ago now, when they were discussing contracts and the status of themselves as far as their workload on the roster, their importance to the team, and how they're compensated for their level of importance, especially early in their contracts. I think we're going to see some things that'll surprise us. If I had to guess what could those surprises be, I would say some of the things that they would look for is going to get like rookie running backs who have a great year. Say Bijan has a great year this year. One thing that they could do is say, hey, Bijan, you had a great rookie year. You're under contract for 3 more years plus the option. Why don't you go ahead and sit out right now, hold out, take your punishment while your salary's considerably lower than what it would be on the open market, and just see what happens. If you're able to get the long-term deal done with that much time left on your contract, I don't think they could finalize the deal at that point. I think they have to wait until there's they're already 2 years into the league or something. But I don't think they're eligible for an extension that early in their rookie contract. But that would be something I think the running back room would consider as kind of a jolt to the marketplace to say, hey, we're serious, start paying us commensurate to our abilities earlier in our contracts, especially the way you utilize us, and we'll be more than happy to play. But if not, so be it. Waddle going for less than market value here. But no, I can't do it. Another team under 50. Kenneth Walker. See where his value goes. Already well over his actual value, or at least pre-draft value. Not willing to pay the premium for him. See if he gets over 20. Be curious. Nice pickup for Pickens. Looks like we'll nominate here in a moment. I'll throw out another one of the top quarterbacks here shortly. Jackson, my number 5 quarterback this year. Is Eckler for Diggs a stupid trade? Yeah, you'd want more value. Otherwise, you might as well draft Diggs as with your 3rd pick, honestly. But yes, I would not do that unless I was getting something else for Eckler. As good as Diggs is, I'd rather have Eckler. Jackson over the value now. See if we see a run on quarterbacks. Still got my number 1 and 3 still available. Had 395 points last year in what was a down year offensively from a passing perspective. His values really come from his ground game, though. Josh Allen for 21, I'd take that. For 23, I'd still take it. But I think that's where I'd stop. There we go. Another one underneath 100. Here's Debo. Really good high-end wide receiver. Well, not a high-end wide receiver, too. Kind of a, wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 2, I should say. 22 pre-draft value. Downside is you got an auto draft at 19. You're going to have to drop something on him to get that draft pick or draft a little lower. I like Debo. Thing is, I think there's others in the room that are going to outbid me. Do I want to go 20? I don't think so. Here's Najee. Kind of an RB2 at this point. 223 last year, 214 projected this year. Kind of a 2 yards in a pile of dust type of running back the last year or so. Had a great rookie campaign, but hasn't been able to do much since. 26 pre-draft value. I'd been fine just letting him drop on the auto draft just to get him out of the way, but for 20, there's 21. Hopefully some of these other guys bid a little higher now that they've outbid the auto. Joe Mixon, the top running back left from a value perspective. I'd be fine dropping him for 19 on Andrade. Let's look at the running back room that we have left. There's some good runners here, but pretty much would have to get Aaron Jones at this point. Joe Mixon 239 last year. I'll go ahead and bid 22. Last year 248 for Aaron Jones. Another solid pickup for Team Beef. Like T. Higgins, but I'd be happy dropping him on the auto pick here. He's overvalued now. 32 pre-draft value at 21. Do I think he has the potential to score 300 points? Probably not, which is why I'm probably going to hold off. Look at the wide receivers that are left. It's not much, though. 27 for Higgins would be pretty nice, I guess. Okay, so I got my 1 and 2 wide receivers. Not great value for pretty much anybody yet. The advantage, though, of my position is I've got 97, which is the second highest dollar figure left. Pacheco, 135 points last year. I'm not expecting a big year for him, though. Be happy to let Pickens have him at that price. Hurts is probably the biggest value left on the board. Probably going to be the highest point per game producer this year in fantasy, in my opinion. I think he's probably going to get north of 400 points this year. Last year he did 378. I think he's going to do above that. ETN 26. I'd be fine dropping him on the auto pick here. Okay, nobody bid. Let the auto take it. Come on. No! Darn. Well, at least they're getting closer to his value. If nothing else, they'll at least deplete probably Team Butler here. Smith. Be happy to let him go for 19 to the auto pick once again. There we go. Damn. This is going to go to Prescott probably here. His first player to draft. No. Beef willing to go in there. Beef, remember, does have all those really good contracts, though. Mixon's on his bench. That's a pretty healthy draft so far for Beef. There's Prescott's first player. Goes Devontae Smith. Cam Akers, can we skip this one, please? Want no part of him, ever. You spurned me in fantasy once, shame on me. Twice? 3 times? No thank you. I do want Hurts and Jones. Those are the top 2 players left on my board. Hopkins would be up there as well, and Pierce as well. And then we get into this group of running backs that I'd like to delve into. Johnson's a really good wide receiver 3 in my opinion. That's kind of where he would be on my roster. Looking at the wide receivers that are left. Pre-draft value of 17. Pretty much have to do that just to get him. It's another good pickup for Beef. But I'd rather live with Hopkins, honestly, as my number 3. There's a couple of really good options in this range as well. Alright. Go ahead and nominate Hurts here. And see what he goes for. Prescott gonna bid me up, I guess. Now that he's cracked, he might overpay for Hurts. I think you're good for another $1, buddy. Fine with that one. He is my number 1 player, but Fields is there as well. And I've got too many holes on this roster that I want to use some money on. Looking at the quarterbacks that are left, there's really 3 quarterbacks that are worth it. 2 that I'd really like. Fields number 1. Made a video on Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook that will be released tomorrow as to how you guys should approach him during fantasy. So be on the lookout for that one tomorrow. $16 for Hall. Alright, here's Jones. 24 pre-draft value. Probably going to go all the way up here because of the auto pick at $19. That's the downside of not dropping a player on him yet. $28. If he takes him, he takes him. Okay. Overpay there. Don't like that. This team is not shaping out great. Looks like this is the part of the draft Prescott's really going to attack here. He's done a nice job dropping them on people, though. Keenan's probably worth 17 in this type of a draft. I'm not going above that. Well, I got two really good options at both running back and wide receiver. My tight end options that I have left: Waller, Andrews. Andrews last year 190. Waller last year had 84. But he would probably be the #1 target there in that Giants offense. I don't know. On the fence with him. Pierce, another running back I really like. I doubt he'll go for less than 15. I'll make you pay more. $13 difference between Pierce and Jones. I think he got the better end of that one. Running backs that are left, I like 1, 2 as potential starters. Go ahead and bid him down, Prescott. I have zero interest in Andrews. You can have him all day long. Auto pick still has 19 left. I need to get some of these Tampa Bay wide receivers out here, and maybe the auto pick will get them. Here's Amari. 246 last year. I think he's probably going to get something like that again this year. I don't understand why they think his numbers are going to go down. Even in a run-first offense, Watson's a far superior quarterback than Baker Mayfield, by the way. And this is going to be the coming out party for Deshaun Watson this year, if it's ever going to happen in Cleveland. Do I get him for 15? There we go. There's my flex / wide receiver 3. Happy with that. Only 3-ish, 4 people left with money that can bid on anything really. And then I'm going to get my pick of whatever I want in this range probably. Need to get Prescott to spend probably another $50 of that money here in the next 5 picks. Well, I think we overpaid for a couple of players here, but I think we're in good shape to round out our roster. 14 to beef, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and nominate Godwin here and just see if we can get the auto bid to finally eat one of the players. Finally. That's my goal. There's 11. Nobody going to bid? Come on, Prescott, one more. Welcome in Beast Mode. There's the auto pick finally biting down on somebody. Do I trade away Miles Sanders and Jonathan Allen for Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson? Your backup now is Burrow. I would do that right now just for Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb is the far superior player out of that, even if you had to start Burrow. I would love to have Deshaun Watson as well. So if somebody's proposing that trade to me, Josh Allen and Miles Sanders for Chubb and Watson, give me that all day. Oh, thought I was going to get him for under 10. This would be my 4th receiver. He's on the auto draft side now. That's why I bumped him up $1 more. This will pretty much wipe out his remaining budget. I'm okay dropping him because I already got 3 receivers, and there's a couple more receivers I like in that number 4 spot as well. Hopkins would be better than my other options that I have, but I like that one. Alrighty. Looking at the options that we have left, Herbert and Fields. I have 0 interest in Cook here, so have away at him, everybody. Got 3 auto drafts now with $7. That's the only downside. It's going to be like $7 chunk, $7 chunk, $7 chunk. We will do a snake draft next. Probably do 2 snake drafts after this one. There's Prescott filling up his bench. Fine with that. We'll go ahead and bid 7. That way the auto picks can't outbid me. I don't think I'll get him for 7, but I'd love it. Oh, yeah. All right. I'll bid 7 again and just see what happens. my fourth running back, I could do worse than Miles Sanders. All right. It's only taken 6 away from my max bid, so 12 in max bid away. I'm okay overbidding here for Dalvin. Sweet. My roster just got a lot better very, very, very quickly. The savings I got on White and Sanders, I use a couple dollars of that on Cook. Not too bad. Kittle last year, 200 points. This year, 165. I don't think that's happening either. I think Kittle's seen his best days in the NFL. I'd rather go for guys that have upside or stream my tight end spot. Let's see who wants Herbert here. Beef does. Does he already have a quarterback? He does. Interesting. He wants a higher end backup, I guess. There's still two quarterbacks I like better right now on my board. So I'm okay losing him there. Takes Beef out of the equation. Waller's probably the only tight end of value that's left on the board that I like. 2, 3, 4 bench spots left. Let's see what Waller goes for here. Is he worth 7? All right. This roster's coming together pretty well. Kyle Pitts, no thanks. I still need my quarterback. Prescott, I think, already has his. Yep, he's got Hurts, which is fine. I like Hurts. I'd rather have Fields based on how prices are going right now. Let's see what Sack has. He already has Mahomes. Pickens has Smith. Let's go ahead and drop Mike Evans on somebody. Christian Kirk is probably the wide receiver I'm targeting next. I'd love Javonte Williams as well, but I'm not counting on it. Let's see if this takes up one of the autos. Or Prescott, that'd be fine. I was beginning to worry this team wouldn't look so good, but I really like how this team's looking right now. Waller's my number 4 tight end this year. Got him for a decent price. I still like Schultz, though. So if I didn't get Waller at 7, I would have just passed and moved on to Schultz late in the draft. There goes Jerry Jeudy. Here's Ayuk. Nice player. Let's see. I'd be fine with Ayuk going here. Here's Javonte. Still have plenty of room on my bench. Could be an Alvin Kamara type of situation in Denver if he stays healthy. Got 5 running backs already. And there's one other running back I really like late that I want to make sure I get. Alright, so the number 1 quarterback left on the board, Justin Fields. Give me Justin. I know you're just trying to upbid me, Prescott. Sad part is I've got to go for it. I could drop him on him and go with Watson. I think I will. He's got a nice roster, but nothing I love aside from the Pierce and Hurts selections. I mean, these are nice bench pieces here, but I like where I'm at. Swift is a really good running back this year, but not the one I'm targeting late. I'll bid 5 just to see if I can get Prescott to bid another. I'll do 7. See if Prescott goes 8. He does. Interesting. There we go. You can have DeAndre Swift at 10. All yours, buddy. He's got some nice bench, but nothing to start. I've got some good starters. Not great starters, but good ones. Montgomery would be an important bench piece for me if I want to stack him with Gibbs. Do I want to stack him with Gibbs, taking up a bench spot? I'm going to have to carry a quarterback down here, and I want one other running back. I only have 3 receivers. I'll bid 5. That's my max there. At least this way I get the best parts of that Detroit offense, no matter what. Alright. This is another quarterback I really want. I don't think anybody's going to outbid me at 6. There we go. I like that. Kirk is on my list. I want Kirk. Dotson, maybe. Really like Flowers this year. You can bid all you want on Goddard. I'm happy with Waller. Another player I'm fine waiving there. Alright, we're almost halfway through this draft. Most of my roster's already filled. Probably finish this one up here in the next 20 minutes or so, maybe less. and then we'll start our first snake draft of the night. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. We're going to do a live fantasy show once a week during the season and do a couple of update videos as well. This is the running back I really wanted to start the year because I think uh, that New Orleans offense could go either way with that backfield this year. With Jamal Williams getting all the work early as the starter, now my running back room is solid. Don't need any other runners. I need at least one more receiver or a quarterback. I think Kirk is a must-have for me at this point. I don't want Njigba. As far as quarterbacks, probably Prescott or Tua would be my next pick as far as my bench quarterback. Watson's week 5, so I'd be fine with either one of those guys. Drake London, have at him. But we'll be doing, like I said, a live fantasy show once during the week, all season long, and then doing some updates like we did the short little video that I put out saying we're going to go live here as well. We'll be doing those as well during the season. We'll do an NFL live once a week during the season. So, got a lot of content coming your way this year. Prescott's bench is all full. They can't bid on anybody else. Khalil Herbert, no thank you. I might even have some money left to spend on kicker, actually. Never usually works out that way. Brian Robinson, no thank you. Just about finished with our roster. A.J. Dillon, another good running back, but he's a good running back, but not great. The video I've got coming out tomorrow about the Jets backfield is kind of the same for what the Packers was last year. I didn't think both running backs would be able to get enough production to be fantasy relevant, but he still performed pretty well as far as a bye week fill-in, roughly 10 points a game. Here's the wide receiver I really want right now, so I'm willing to go pretty high on him. There we go. I think my wide receiver room is pretty good now. Week 10, Week 7, Week 5, and Week 9. So no real bye week issues at all at my wide receiver. My running back room is completely covered. I would still like one more quarterback at this point. Got a snake draft coming up here in just a few minutes as soon as we get the rest of this team finished off for you guys. Just got one bench spot. We'll put a quarterback there to back up Watson. Not one of the top 5 guys, so when I have one of those, I like to have at least one solid backup. Let's see here. Do I get him? All right. Now I'm all locked up except for defense and kicker. There's only 2 real defenses I want in any draft. What team do you support in each top 4 league? Oh, in the, like, you know, for NFL, the Cowboys would be probably my favorite. Vikings, probably my second. Chiefs, probably third. But I grew up a little bit of a Packers fan, a Jets fan over time anyway. As far as baseball, I got the Rangers, Twins, Braves, Cubs, Astros back in the day before they got, cocky. Fine with making him bid all of his money on that one. As far as basketball, the Mavericks, Timberwolves, Boston to a certain extent. Depends on the era. Hockey would be the Dallas Stars. Liked the Colorado Avalanche back when Joe Sakic was playing. The Wild, just because I grew up in South Dakota. I never got to, I was never there when the Wild were there, but it's just the Minnesota team, so I root for them. But yeah, those would be the teams in each league that I, root for. Hopefully this draft starts picking up speed here. McKinnon's going to be a very nice piece for whoever gets him, I think, this year in snake drafts. If you're counting on him in auction, I think you might have missed the boat a little bit. Really, Beef? You had to wait till the 1 second mark? He can't outbid you. Should I bid the max here on the defense? I don't know. I usually like streaming defenses. I don't like counting on one. So, that was one of the defenses I really wanted, but I didn't really want to spend that much. I'd rather stream if I had to choose. Who's the best kicker left, I suppose, at this point? 126. 159 for Carlson. Probably Carlson at this point would be the best. Butker's going to be a really good option. Struggles from long kicks, though. They do trust him to at least kick it, though, so they do give him the opportunity. Carlson was very good last year in those opportunities. So if I had to pick, I'd say Carlson right now. This is a very interesting roster. He still doesn't have a single receiver on his roster. What the heck? Interesting. Not a good choice if you have a wide receiver on your roster at pick 100. Safe to say you're not going to be very good. Get the riffraff out of here with the higher point. And now the defense I want to stream for week 1. One that you guys probably didn't think was going to be a good defense this year is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it's strictly about who they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing against Indianapolis, against Anthony Richardson, a quarterback who I think has a lot of talent, but this year I think it's foolhardy to start him at this point in his career. It's just the fact that they don't have another option to really go to. Sorry, Gardner Minshew. I don't think you're a competent quarterback to learn from in that system. If I were the Colts, I would also want to rather start Anthony Richardson as well. So I think the defense is going to feast against them this year. Njoku. Come on, everybody. Let's go. Sky Moore, another good piece. It's going to be his first receiver, I think, on his team. As soon as this draft is over, like I said, we're going to be doing a snake draft here. Kirk Cousins, the perennial bye week fill-in for any team. Cowboys defense, really good in takeaways. They do have kind of a bend don't break type of philosophy. They'll give all kinds of yardage up. They will give up some points as well, but they do live for that turnover the last couple of years. They were very productive last year, though, 153 points. But like I said, I'm not looking to have one defense all year. I'd rather go with the defense I know is going to be good in week 1 and go from there. Couple picks away here from finally ending this draft and then starting our next one. If you guys want to try to join it in the same, join at the same time as us, you can. Bear in mind there is like a 20-second lag or so between when I'm live and when you guys actually see the video. So. Come on, nominate somebody already. Cole Kmet. Pass. Come on. Come on. Addison, a good player to choose there. Come on. Come on. And our roster is complete. So let's take a look at how our roster finished up. We started off a little bit of an overpay anyway for Gibbs, my must-have running back this year. And then I wanted to make sure I landed a number one receiver in fantasy this year in A.J. Brown, and I got him a little bit, I think it was right at market value. T. Higgins I got right under, went a little bit over for Aaron Jones, and then I really got some really nice values with these $7 selections for Ricard White, Sanders, and Cook. Really like how my running back room came together. Gibbs, I probably won't start week one, and that's because I think that Jamal Williams is going to be an RB1 for the first 3 weeks of the season. I think he'll be fantastic, but after that, I think Gibbs is absolutely going to take off, and so I'll have number one running back production out of that spot all year long. So that's kind of how I saw things going with my running back room. My wide receivers, I got some really nice pieces. I'm not necessarily in love with any of them, but I should get really solid production out of them. I got a little bit of a wide receiver quarterback stack. I don't usually try to stack them. It just happened that way in this draft. I wasn't willing to overpay for Hurts or for Fields, so I went ahead and got Watson and Prescott to back him up. Not a bad stack there. Kirk, I counted on quite a bit last year as my number 4 wide receiver. That's what he is here once again. I think he has the upside last year to be a number 2 wide receiver. This year, I think he'll be fantastic. Yes, Jamal Williams is a saint. But like I said, I think Jamal Williams taking over for Alvin Kamara the first 3 weeks of the year, he should be absolute money. Now, David Montgomery is the handcuff, if you will, to Jamar Gibbs. But I think early in the season, I want proven workload, and I think Williams is going to get all the workload he wants in that Saints system, at least until Kamara gets back. And I think by the second half of the season, I think we see more of a timeshare in that backfield anyway. But for the first 3 weeks of the year, give me Jamal Williams as my number 1 running back, at least for right now. Could change, of course, if there's injuries or if Gibbs absolutely dominates in week 1. But for me, I would like to have Jamal Williams as my starter. So that's kind of how the draft ended up for us. We're going to go ahead and go back to the draft room, or back to the ESPN Fantasy Football page, if I can get it to pop up again. There we go. We'll just go ahead and close this out and go to Fantasy Football. Now, as I said, we're going to go ahead and join a public league. We're going to go ahead and draft live with a snake draft. We're going to do pro, points per reception, draft time now. Join league. Voila, we are in. Edit team settings. There we go. Hopefully we get a good draft spot this year, or this time anyway. We've had pretty much the 5th draft spot, I think 3 different times now that we've done this live with you guys. And each time it seems like we've ended up with Travis Kelce with a round 1 pick. I would like to see if we get a different spot as far as, in the draft order. If we get number 1, I'd like to see how things work out getting Justin Jefferson 1-1. If we get number 10, I'd like to see who falls to us at 10 and see if we can get an opportunity in that 10 to 20 range. But we'll see. Looks like the room is pretty much filled up already. Got about a minute and change until the draft starts here. As I mentioned, we'll probably do one more live draft after this one as well. Draft strategy is a little bit different with this one as opposed to the auction style draft or salary cap draft. With this one, I try to go for a position of strength anyway. So for instance, I try to create an advantage every single week at one spot or another, whether that be quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, flex, whatever the case may be. I want one spot to every single week, count on that spot to at least dominate every single week. So if I get Travis Kelce, great. But, you know, I'd like to try to do a different strategy this time around, besides just the tight end spot. Got about 30 seconds here. In case you missed kind of our ranking videos that we put out so far this year, fantasy quarterbacks this year, I have number 1 Hurts, 2 Mahomes, 3 Fields, 4 Allen, 5 Jackson. Running backs, I have 1 Eckler, 2 McCaffrey, 3 Bijan, 4 Henry, and 5 Nick Chubb. For wide receiver, I have Jefferson, Chase, Hill, Adams, and then Diggs are my top 5 there. And then in a category all by himself for a tight end is Travis Kelce. Here we go. Let's see what spot we get. Pick 3. Pick number 3. Sounds like we might actually be getting rain. Haven't gotten rain down here in a long time. Alright, so Justin Jefferson probably going to go 1-1. If he doesn't and somehow falls to me, I would love to get him. But more than likely we'll end up with Eckler or Kelce at that point, which we've already done the Kelce way of doing it. I might end up doing it again, unfortunately. We'll see. Still got so many people that are not in this draft room yet. Looks like right now, as we sit, we're going to have at least 3 autos with the potential of 4 more. Might not be a good draft room. Minute and a half left. Kind of gave you the top 5 at each position. My must-haves, as I said, running back, Gibbs, wide receiver, Ridley. We actually do have some rain, so should be fun. Are these real people drafting or bots? Welcome back, ER7. This draft, it looks like we're going to have a fair number of auto picks, unfortunately. But we got 40 seconds left. Some people might be on their phones drafting, and so they might wait until they're actually on the clock to pick. Like these people that have the grayed out helmets, probably the people on the phone. The auto drafts are people that aren't even in there yet. $20 seconds left. Like I said, if Jefferson's there, I'll take him, but with the way the draft is looking, we're probably going to be left with Travis Kelce once again. And here we go. First pick, Patrick Mahomes. Wow. If only we didn't have an auto pick. I still don't like Ja'Marr Chase over Eckler or Kelce, honestly. And we've already done this debate before for you guys. We're taking the position of strength here in Travis Kelce. I think I can get my running backs later. So, give me Travis Kelce. I was hoping we could do something different, but it's just not in the cards this year, I guess. I have the first pick on my 10-team PPR league, 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, 1 flex. Should I go Jefferson or McCaffrey? Jefferson all day long. McCaffrey's a very good talent, but I mean, I would still pick Travis Kelce over McCaffrey. I just did. I picked Kelce over any running back here. Ja'Marr Chase dropped all the way down to number 6 in this draft. I wonder if Team Arrow is literally going to draft all of the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know. Arrow for Arrowhead. Cooper Kupp, another player I'm not touching this high in the draft at all, and he's not going to make it down to the range where I would be comfortable taking him, so long. Now we're going to be up around pick 17. We're probably going to be left with one of these guys that might fall a little bit, Diggs, Chubb, Lamb, etc. Guys that'll be right at our pick as far as value. Brown, Waddle, Jacobs. You got Hurts here at 28. Gibbs at 32. Probably not going to be able to end up with Jahmyr Gibbs, unfortunately, in this draft. There goes Bijan. Pretty much this draft is going chalk, aside from the Patrick Mahomes selection at 1. There's another bit of a reach there with Josh Allen. So 2 of the top 5 already off the board. 3 of the top 5 quarterbacks already gone. Makes my decision a little easier. Probably going to end up with Diggs or Chubb by the looks of it. If I had to choose between the 2, probably Nick Chubb. There goes Diggs. Hey, maybe they'll leave me Devontae. I doubt it, but hey, guy can dream. There goes Devontae. 2 picks left. There goes Pollard. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. There goes Chubb. All right, so we got Lamb, Brown are probably my top options on my board. What did CD do last year? 301. I am a Cowboys fan. I don't like drafting just because they're my favorite team, though. $2.99 for A.J. Brown. There's more weapons in Dallas, which usually means the offense actually does better in Dallas from a fantasy perspective, which you'd think would be the opposite, that more targets or bigger target share for Lamb, that would work better for him, but that's not usually how it works. With the Cowboys, at least. They're the one team that does it that way. I might regret it, but give me CeeDee Lamb. There goes Wilson. Amon-Ra St. Brown. A.J. Brown and Josh Jacobs. Jonathan Taylor's the top running back left. The only one I would really like in this range is Jalen Waddle as far as a wide receiver. The next best piece, probably Jahmyr Gibbs. I know it's a big time reach for this, but honestly, I don't care. I'm just that high on Jahmyr Gibbs this year. And yes, I know I just took him over the #1 pick from last year, Jonathan Taylor. So be it. Waddle probably going to outscore Gibbs, but I wanted to get a #1 running back for me. Probably going to end up as my #2 running back, depending on how I get the rest of this draft to go. Waddle probably the best player left. Aaron Jones would be second. Debo, Ridley, Jackson, Fields. Watson's really coming up the boards, though. Not that I want him on my roster. There goes Taylor, Waddle. Aaron Jones is clearly the next best player left available. He will likely go before I get to my pick, or even close to my pick. Come on, people, let's go. So I've got Kelsey as my #1, Lamb 2, Gibbs 3. Not a bad roster so far. There goes Higgins. Got some runners left, so we could see them try to run on wide receivers since that's where they see everybody going right now. We shall find out. There goes, wow, Mike Williams really early. Fine with that. Watch him go, Herbert. Calvin Ridley was going to be probably my 5th round pick. Oh well. Got 6 left until me. I just want to see Aaron Jones make it there. I doubt he will. There goes Andrews. Kenneth Walker really early. I shouldn't say really early, just early. There's probably 2 or 3 running backs I'd like ahead of him right now. Ugh. Knew he wouldn't get to me. I don't know why I got my hopes up. There goes Keenan. Alright. And there goes Debo, who is going to be my next pick. Okay, so who's left? Got Cooper, Hopkins from a wide receiver position. Deontay Johnson's really risen up some boards, but not for me. I really like this range of running back in the 50s, and I'm not going to get to pick in that range more than likely. I've got 2 picks of which to work with here. Etienne up here. I could solve my wide receiver dilemma, getting Hopkins and Cooper. Cooper probably the better of them at this point. I'll take Amari. Not in love with the pick, but gotta do it. There goes Najee, Ramondre, and Lamar. So I do get to go after Pierce. Pierce, the best running back left. DeAndre's there. Who's left from the running back room? Got some decent RB2s. Pierce is good, but he's not a lock to be a high-end RB2. And wide receivers are going to get thin here quickly. I'll take Hopkins. It's going to leave me a little bit of a dilemma on a bye week. Not a big dilemma, but enough to think about. Now, running backs are probably my next targets here. Looking at the quarterbacks and where they're listed. Fields, Watson, Burrow, Herbert, Lawrence. Fine with all those guys as a starter. So I've got to draft one here probably in the next 3 rounds. Joe Burrow at the top of the board will not be for long with the auto pick coming. There goes Hawkinson. There goes Burrow and Pierce. Didn't think he would get to me, but was hoping. Got a lot of picks between me and where we are now in my pick. And this is right in the range for the running backs that I want. Madison probably 1. White 2. Connor 3. Hall 4. Sanders 5. DJ, Fields, Javonte, and Watson, Lawrence, Cook. Montgomery drafted really early. Kirk. Kittle drafted early. Sky Moore really rocketing up boards along with Smith and Jigba. Swift is raised up a little bit as well. What league am I in? I'm in a snake draft. 10-team PPR ESPN Standard. Alright. Got a few picks until mine. So we got, what, 6 picks? 7 picks until mine. I'm just hoping at least 2 of the running backs make it. A.J. Dillon way overdrafted, just fine with that. There goes Fields. many quarterbacks are left? 3, 4. Worth starting. Good to know. I'm fine waiting at this point for at least round 8 for a quarterback. With any luck, we will get Madison. There goes Herbert. Another quarterback off the board. There's Sanders, one of the running backs I really like. Evans. Alright, time to be smart. I'm fine losing Hall. Last year. When he did get the workload, he was good. When he didn't get the workload, not worth starting. But if I want Hall, I'm going to have to take him here. I'd rather have the upside of Madison first, though. There goes Watson. Godwin, that's fine. Goddard, that's fine. Johnson, that's fine. Okay. I'm going to get my pick of the top 4 here. I do need another running back. I've got 3 receivers. I'd really like DJ Moore. But for my number 4, I'm okay waiting another round. White. They got any news on him? 7 for 39 yards against Baltimore. Yeah. I'll take that. And Baker's always worked well with a good running game, so they're going to tailor that offense to the running game. All right. Solid team so far. Not great, but solid. Looking at the quarterbacks that are left, Watson is by far the best, along with Lawrence. And then a little bit of a step down is Prescott. And then I have Tua right outside of that, followed by Cousins and all the other bye week fill-in type quarterbacks. Not a bad draft overall. In case you guys are curious, we went Kelsey in the first, Lamb in the second, Gibbs in the third, Cooper and then Hopkins, Madison and then White. I still think I need one more solid runner. I don't think Javonte gets to me at all, but I'd love it if he did. Just looking at the running backs that are left, Dalvin Cook probably would fall to me later on, but we shall see. There goes Connor and Hall. No way Javonte makes it to me. Sadly. I don't even think my quarterbacks are going to make it to my next pick either. We'll see. We'll do one more live draft after this one as well. Almost halfway through with this one. There goes Deshaun. Lawrence probably going to go here quickly as well. And then I'll be left with Prescott as my starter. Yikes. There's Pacheco. Dalvin. No! I wanted him as my fourth runner. Drafting defense already. Mistake. Pickens. Early for him. Swift was really early. Come on, leave me Javonte, please. I don't think it'll happen, but please. Probably have to go with the quarterback here, depending on how the next couple of picks go. I don't expect Javonte to be there. Let's look at his numbers real quick. Last year, when he did get the majority of the work, didn't really produce. Seven touches for 30 yards so far this preseason. We'll see. There goes Pittman, that's fine. 2 picks left. This might work out. There goes Lawrence. Would have been my quarterback probably in round 9. Let's see if I get Javonte. With any luck, fingers crossed. Ah, there goes Christian Kirk. He was the guy I was targeting at my wide receiver 4. As it stands, I'll take Javonte. Ayuk probably be my next pick. Probably. More defenses being taken. A kicker, yuck. Ayuk is still sitting there. Last year didn't get 100 catches, but got over 1,000 yards. That's some good usage. Or good success, I should say. Not a whole lot of carries. Inconsistent production, though. Which is kind of the name of the game this late in the draft. Could be a home run if Debo goes down. Higher floor with Judy, though. I gotta take Prescott. There's nobody else left really to start. I don't think Prescott would have made it around the next time around. Alright, so I got 4 running backs I trust, 3 wide receivers I trust, but I'm going to be lacking after that. Sky Moore. Schultz as a tight end option. Who are the tight ends left? Nobody besides Schultz, honestly. In round 9 at this point. There goes Judy. Let's go ahead and scroll down just a little bit. Sky Moore probably be the best upside play left, along with maybe Dotson. What's he look like so far in fantasy or in as far as projections? 21% target share in each of the team's final 5 games. And that's with Howell getting one of those starts. In his final start with Howell, he got 10 points. Not a whole lot, but that's only on 3 catches on 4 targets. He's going to get a bigger target share, you'd have to imagine, and working with Howell a little bit more should work a little bit better as well. Dotson might be the best upside there as well, along with Moore. I like Flowers this late, or a little bit later, but in this range, I should say. Ayuk probably will not make it to my pick. Highly unlikely. Let's see what surprise pick this guy has for us this time. Dobbins, that's almost chalk for him. That's a surprise in and of itself. Tua probably be one of my next 2 picks here just to lock up my quarterback spot. Not necessarily a Geno fan like a lot of y'all out there, or an Aaron Rodgers just because he's in New York either. Tua, when healthy though, certainly puts up fantasy points. Saw that last year, and their offense has only gotten better in my mind. There goes Sutton, Ingram. Moore and Ayuk probably, along with Dotson. There goes Dotson. Ayuk might actually make it. Let's see if they got any news on him. They're starting him. There goes Ayuk. Cowboys D. Sky Moore probably be the biggest upside piece right now. I'll take him. Watch him burn me again. I drafted him, I think, like in the 14th round last year. Not very high at all. I just wanted every piece of the Kansas City offense that I could get. Didn't work out well, but it allowed me to use that spot for a bench spot. And if I had hit on it, great. But obviously it didn't. Alright, so we have a choice of Addison. We can go ahead and take Tua right here. Flowers probably be one of my next selections, and Jamal Williams. Probably Williams first, just because I can count on him for at least 3 solid weeks of production. And I think he's going to get us more solid production probably after week 10. At least we got some auto drafts to get out of here now. There goes Cousins. Addison. go with flex options here. Ooh, there goes Zeke. I like Zeke as kind of like an RB6 or 7, depending on how your league goes, but I think Elliott has a real chance to be a solid RB3 this year. Schultz. No. And there goes Jamal Williams. Come on. Well, as far as the tight end spot, there's not much left that I like. Laporta. Let me see how his preseason's been going. Immediate starter as a rookie. Should be a featured weapon of the pass game. Okay. So Laporta could be my tight end. Ertz is probably the safer option. Give me Flowers for my 5th wide receiver. Let me look at runners. Elijah Mitchell is kind of an insurance in case McCaffrey goes down. McKinnon, again, Kansas City offense connection. Wilson, Dolphins offense connection. Only 2 bench spots left, though. Do I go Mitchell? I think I do. McKinnon could be a really big upside play, though. Let's take McKinnon first. I have 1 bench spot left and my tight end. Let's go ahead and cue Mitchell, Wilson, Mostart. Thielen's not a bad option this low. Not a great one either. Claypool, Romeo Dubes, Laporta. All right. There's Goff. Wilson's off the board. That's fine. I'd rather have Mitchell right now as my last bench spot. Looking at who's in between. Does any of these teams need a tight end? No. My first pick will be Mitchell here. Hopefully he makes it there. He will likely only be valuable for the weeks McCaffrey is out, but I'm going to bank on him at least missing 2 or 3 weeks to where I can start him probably 2 or 3 times. I've already got my 2 quarterbacks. I'm good there. I already have Kelsey. I don't necessarily need Laporta. I like having the bench versatility though, but I'm going to go for the home run option in Mitchell. All options. Kicker. Butker, probably the best kicker left. Elliott is up there. How many points did Elliott get last year? 119? Yuck. Koo last year, 147, and very accurate too. Give me Butker though. Alright, my last pick, as you guys can probably guess, the Jacksonville defense. Alright, just looking at our roster, how things stacked up. We've got our number 1 target there in Kelsey in the first, followed by Lamb and then Gibbs. Rounded things out in our lineup with Cooper, Hopkins, and then Madison. For our bench, we got some really nice running backs at the top with Rachaad White, Javonte Williams, 2 guys who could be, borderline RB1, high-end RB2 guys this year, and then pure lottery tickets at the wide receiver bench spots in Moore and Flowers. Waited a little bit too long, I think, on quarterback, but I like the room as far as where we're at. It's not too low of a floor, but it's got some good high ceiling there with Tua as the bench option for us. And then, of course, our defense here. Hopefully we get the Jacksonville defense. I like to stream that defense. Kicker, I got one of the top 5, so I'm happy there. But I don't mind streaming that position either. And then a couple of lottery tickets to round out my running back room with McKinnon and Mitchell. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We'll be live for you guys again tomorrow. Just looking at my schedule, going to do our weekly MLB Live tomorrow right around 8 o'clock. So for those of you who have joined us during the baseball season, we'll kind of update everything as to what's going on there. And then, depending on how things go, we might end up doing that Arizona and Dodger game tomorrow. But be on the lookout for a couple of videos. One about Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, how you should be targeting them in your fantasy drafts. A couple of updates around the world of the NFL and Major League Baseball as well. And might be putting out a Justin Jefferson video as well in the next couple of days. So make sure you guys are on the lookout for those when they are released. And give me that Jacksonville defense. Thank you very much. There we go. There's our team. Round 1, 2, 3, Kelsey, Lamb, Gibbs. 4, 5, 6, Cooper, Hopkins, Madison. 7, 8, 9, White, Williams, Prescott. 10 through 12, Moore, Tua, and Flowers. 13 to 15, McKinnon, Mitchell, Butker, and then rounding things out with the Jacksonville defense. Let's go look at the team. Just so you can kind of see the projections. I think White has a really nice floor this week, so I'm probably going to put him above Hopkins this week anyway. Probably put him in the starting lineup. There we go. And then do I go Dak or Tua for week 1? Giants defense at the Giants. Miami traveling to LA. Sunday 3 o'clock games, Sunday night football. Dak projected to do better, but I don't know. I just can't trust him early in the season. He's never gotten off to a great start. So I'll go Tua. So there we go. There's the week 1 lineup already set. Jacksonville, I know they got a projected 7.1 on defense right now. That's going to be much higher. I think anybody who plays the Indianapolis Colts this season is going to put up double digits every single week. Book it. So if you want to check out who the Indianapolis Colts are playing this year, let's look at their schedule. Week 1, playing Jacksonville. Week 2, Houston. Week 3, Baltimore. Would love to have the Ravens defense. Week 3, the Rams defense, even though it's gotten a little spotty over the last year or so, should be very good defense against the Colts that week. And just kind of follow this schedule if you're looking for a defense you want to stream. Richardson, I think, is going to have a strong NFL career in the long run, but I think this season's way too early to start him, and he's going to have to live through some very bad mistakes early on. We've seen a few of them in preseason, throwing the ball, 8 yards to a receiver and it getting picked off. When I say 8 yards, I mean 8 yards from his feet to the wide receiver's feet. Not 8 yards down the field, but right there at the line of scrimmage and getting picked off on a fairly simple read and just not seeing the defensive coverage right underneath and getting pick sixed. So, again, like I said, Jacksonville's defense week 1, really love them this year in week 1 at least, and we'll see the rest of the way how things go. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe on the video. Appreciate you guys joining us. We're going to go ahead and call it for the evening anyway. Got a little bit late on us, a little too quick there. But we'll be live for you guys again tomorrow with our weekly MLB Live update for you guys. Probably do a baseball live thereafter. Our NFL update for you guys will begin starting on Tuesday, and we'll do a weekly update for you guys on the NFL on Tuesday afternoon. So, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We'll see you guys soon.